Ah, sorry about that. All right. Well, hello, hello, hello. You guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. My name is Gabrielle Crichlow. Sorry, yes, my name is Gabrielle Crichlow. I am your host for today, as I'm always your host. But yes, welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. Once again, I am doing this from my car. I am having one of those days, you guys. So, if it's just one of those days. But but I'm powering through it, and we just gotta push through it, you guys. Ah, all right. So this is the show where we like to talk about real topics. We like to have real talk about real things, you guys. We like to focus on things in education, entrepreneurship, empowerment. We've done episodes on mom shaming, homeschooling. What else have we done? We've done episodes on um, plenty of episodes about disabilities. So we have covered a wide range of topics, self-care, right? And today is no different. So one of the topics, as I said, we like to talk about entrepreneurship, and today is no different. So I am repeating a topic today. So I love it when I have repeat topics on the show. So let me tell you what that repeat topic is. So the topic of today is, what am I doing wrong as an entrepreneur? Part 5, you guys. So this is part 5 of this topic. What am I doing wrong as an entrepreneur? So this episode is for all the business owners, entrepreneurs. If you are in business now, you're thinking about it, this episode is for you. And my guest today is going to talk about things pertaining to entrepreneurship. He's specifically going to talk about direct mail marketing. So let me just tell you who he is. He's actually new to the show. So he's new to the hot seat. So his name is Dennis Kelly, and he has a company called Postalytics. And what he's going to do is he's going to talk about direct mail as a type of marketing tool, as well as how we can implement that tool in the modern world. So if you have any questions, if you happen to be watching this in real time, put your questions in the chat and we will get to it as much as we can. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring him to the stage. Hi, Dennis. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Gabrielle. How are you?
I am all right. Hanging in there, hanging in there. All right, so yes, so you're going to talk to us about direct mail marketing and how we can apply it to the modern world. So please, the floor is yours. Please tell us about direct mail marketing.
Sure. Thank you for having me on the show, and I'm really happy to speak to you and the audience today. Direct mail marketing, a lot of people know about it. It's been around for a long time, and is actually one of the very first modern ways of marketing. It was really sort of turned into a thing way back in the 1800s by Montgomery Ward. Montgomery Ward had a store in Chicago, and he decided he was going to put together a catalog and then mail that catalog to people all over the country. And then it blew up. He mailed that catalog to people. They got it in the mail. They said, wow, I can order stuff from Montgomery Ward and they'll send it to me. So it was a whole new concept. And so people have been using the U.S. Postal Service to send out advertisements for a very long time. And, there was a time a few years ago where there was so much volume of direct mail marketing that people's mailboxes were just overflowing every single day with tons of stuff, to the point where people are calling it junk mail. And so if you're of a certain age, of which I am, you remember the junk mail days. And uh, so what ended up happening at that point is marketers were seeing direct mail work. And so everybody and their brother was just pumping out tons of direct mail in a not very smart way a lot of times. And so you get, postcards in the mail or different things that would say, you know, to current resident. And you get things that really had no applicability to your life. And so people just throw it away, right? They get stuff in the mail, they just throw it away. And then what ended up happening is other marketing channels came along. And so email came, right? And everybody jumped on email because it was a really inexpensive way to get your message out to people. But then so many people started sending email because it was cheap. Then now all of a sudden we're getting hundreds of emails every day. I think the statistic is that the average US consumer gets 120 emails every single day. And so all of a sudden email marketing is really crowded, and people that are running their business that want to get their message out to customers, they want to get new sales, they want to get new leads. If they just send email, you're just drowned in the noise. On top of that, there's a lot of spam filtering. There's a lot of government regulations about who you can send email to. You're not supposed to buy lists of email, right? You're supposed to only email the people that have contacted you. And so it kind of limits what you can do with email. So as email's blowing up, all of a sudden digital ads and social media come along as well. And so now you can advertise on Facebook, you can advertise on Google, Instagram, all these different social media channels. You can buy keywords on Google search, right? So that's all blown up, and a lot of people are spending their time and money doing that. And that works really well for some folks, but then it kind of gets to a point where, it starts getting more and more expensive, because if it works for you, it also works for your competitor. And the way that that Google and Facebook and these companies do it, you're in an auction. And so when something works, the price of those ads goes up and up and up very quickly. So you got a bunch of these things going on, and direct mail has had less volume going since 2008. There's been about a 30% drop in the overall mail volume in the United States. So, where does that leave us? Well, all of a sudden, there's a lot less mail in your mailbox, a lot less postal mail. And there's a lot more email. There's a lot of digital ads. We see about 5,000 ads per day on screens. And so all of a sudden, the mailbox gives you a way to stand out as an entrepreneur. If you're trying to market your business, if you send out a compelling offer through the mail, it stands out a lot more than if you're sending out an email to somebody, or if you're just doing digital ads. And so what's happening is a lot of businesses are saying, you know what, in addition to doing some of these other things, I'm going to make sure I go back to sending direct mail. And so what we've done at Postalytics is to create a faster and better way to do that. So, when you're going to send some mail, you got a couple options. You can do your own printing, and you can stuff envelopes or get postcards printed up, and you can put stamps on them, go and do the mail yourself. It takes a long time. And, if you're an entrepreneur, you know how valuable your time is. You need to be talking to customers. You need to be working things that are of high value, and licking stamps and putting it on a postcard or stuffing envelopes is not high value. That's not a good use of your time. And so we created Postalytics to deal with the printing and the mailing, and to create an automated way to send out direct mail. And so you don't have to waste your time doing really low value things. You can focus on building a great postcard or a great letter do it right in our software. You can upload a list through a spreadsheet, and then you can just press send. And then we take care of the rest. We take care of the printing and the mailing, and then you can actually track where your mail is when it's being delivered. And we even have QR codes that you can put onto your mail. So somebody hits a QR code with their phone, they can go right to your website, make a purchase, do whatever you need them to do. So that's, in a nutshell, what we're doing at Postalytics and why we're doing it, because there's this opportunity to take advantage of that less crowded mailbox with a tool that will save you time and money by doing it in a modern fashion as opposed to kind of the old-fashioned way.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay. All right. So you mentioned just to go back to what you said earlier, you talked about a form of marketing that we've done in the past, which kind of still applies today, is that um, is we're sending out for businesses to reach out to consumers. One of the ways we try to do that, especially on a massive scale, is by sending out postcards, postcards. I mean, I still get the postcards. What else? Brochures. I might try to think what I've seen. I've seen from like the Brooklyn Public Library. Well, when they're trying to solicit donations, they usually send out those letters, asking for donations. They might include little gifts in it, like they usually do mailing labels. So it's a way to reach out on a massive scale, and usually that's one of the techniques is through mail. But as you said, I guess people do it more and more, and then it ends up as junk mail. And then we switched over to email because of that. And then, of course, email exploded, and so now it's like we're trying to go back to mail. So now, what is the importance of trying to reach consumers on a massive scale? Because if you could talk about that, why would a entrepreneur want to reach out to so many people in such a large medium?
Well, that's a great question. And, from a marketing perspective, what's really important for entrepreneurs is to really think about who their target audience is, right? So who are your best types of customers? Where do they live? What do they like? What are their characteristics? And so when you find that, when you figure that out, you look at your best customers. You say, I'm going to build like a profile of this type of people, this age, this income level, this geography, whatever the case may be. You identify them. You need to touch them over and over and over again to get your message through and to build your brand. If you just do one message out to your audience, I say it's like this. If you're an entrepreneur, you had a salesperson, and that salesperson picked up the phone and called a prospect one time and left a voicemail and never picked up the phone again, how effective would that sales rep be? You fire that rep. That rep is out. They don't know how to sell, right? You got to be persistent. You gotta be, somebody who's not giving up. You've got to touch that prospect multiple times, and you can do it through different marketing channels. So you can do it through email and direct mail and digital. But what's most important, you identify who that customer is and you touch them over and over and over again. And the more dogged you are, and the more persistent you are in touching your audience, the more success you're going to have. All the data shows that. All the studies show you need to touch a customer at least 7 times before they buy something on average. And so you have to have systems, to your point, that are scalable, that you can repeat over and over again without spending a huge amount of time doing it, because you're an entrepreneur, you got a million other things to do as well. You put your marketing hat on, right? You can do that for a little while, but you can't be spending all your time doing this. So you have to have systems in place that allow you to hit a lot of people over and over and over again with a simple message that means something to your audience. And you can't be all things to all people. You got to pick your spot, right? And you got to hammer that message home over and over again. That's how you build a brand.
So maybe if you could explain this to me. So I've done the stuffing envelopes, and I know, going to the post office with a huge tote bag full of envelopes. Um, so here's the thing I'm trying to understand about direct mail. So what percent of people actually respond to that? So I've looked online, I've Googled it, and I've seen percents like expect a third of people to respond, expect 33%. I saw like 2 to 3%. So can you give us a breakdown of how, I guess, in the sense of how effective is direct mail? I don't know if you could give statistics, but also what is a percent of people that actually respond to, direct mail?
Yeah. No, that's a great question, and it's really something everybody wants to know. And so I think there are a couple of things there. A lot depends on your audience, right? So who are you sending the mail to? If you're sending mail to an existing customer who has already bought from you, and you're trying to sell them something else, right? Or you've got a relationship, some sort of business relationship with somebody already, the response rate to direct mail is much higher than if you're trying to send mail to somebody who has never heard of you before. And that's true with all marketing channels, as you can imagine, right? I mean, it just makes sense. You get something, you just bought something last month from a particular brand. I'm interested in that brand. So I get something, I'm like, I like their stuff, right? So I'm going to look at it. So there's that. So on average, if you're sending to what's called a cold list, people have never heard of you before, then you get on average between 2 and 3% response rate. If you're sending to an audience who has worked with you in some fashion, they've got a relationship with you, you get between 9 and 10%. And that's what the most recent data is showing. And those numbers have gone up as the amount of mail has gone down, believe it or not, because there's less competition, right? So there's less pieces of mail to kind of filter through. And the technology's gotten better. So people aren't sending out junk mail. They're not sending out mail to current resident, right? With an offer that doesn't make sense to the person. They're being smarter. They're sending mail to a particular audience with an offer that makes sense for that audience. And so you get better results that way. And so it's that 2 to 3% range, 9 to 10% range. And then you move those numbers up as you hit them multiple times. Now, the really interesting thing is marketers that are able to use mail with one channel and email or digital as a second channel. So you combine them, your results go up between 20 and 30%. So instead of, let's say 3%, you get 3.5%. Or instead of 10%, you're getting 12% or 12.5%. So,
Mhm.
so when you combine the channels together, then let's say you saw an email, maybe you deleted it because you didn't have time to deal with it, but then a postcard comes a couple days later, right? And you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. I that made sense to me. So by touching your audience with a really good offer using multiple channels, multiple touches, everything goes higher.
So I just want to just grasp what you said. So if it's an audience, if you're reaching out to people that you're reaching out to new people that have never heard of you, you're looking at 2 to 3%
Mm-hmm.
response rate.
Right.
Okay. So where does I guess where does the 9 to 10% come in?
When you're mailing to an audience who you've already done business with. So
Uh,
we call it your house list, right? Like
okay.
it's like these are my customers already. So when I send out a promotion to people that I already do business with, the take rate is way higher, right? Because there's a level of trust, and and
Yeah.
and I know who these people are. Like I deal with them. I think that they're honest, and I like what I did last time, so I'll do it again. I like this product.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then you said 20 to 30%.
20, thirty
Where does
percent
that come?
lift if you combine direct mail with email or combine direct mail with like a social media campaign at the same time, same promotion, right? So let's say you see an ad on Facebook and then you get a postcard from the same company, that is basically saying the same thing. Then
Oh, okay, got it.
that's going to bump your response rate because people are seeing it in multiple places, the same type, the same offer.
Got it. Got it. So can we get into how direct I want to how it works? Because the way I've used it, I've used companies that I've bought lists from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know like Vistaprint does it. And then there's a couple other websites. So how can you talk about how do they target the demographics? How does the demographics work? How do they how do they work?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm trying to ask you.
Yeah, no. So there are a lot of companies out there that sell mailing lists. And what you're able to do is choose the characteristics of the list that you want to get. You can first, the easy thing is to pick a geography, right? Like, where do you want to send to, right? Do you want to send to an entire city? Do you want to send to a group of zip codes? Do you want to send to a county? Right? There's a lot of ways you can kind of create a geography. Then you say, all right, well, let's say I'm going to send to uh, Plymouth County, Massachusetts. That's where I am. All right, well, let's say there's 200,000 people. I don't want to send to every person in Plymouth County. So I'm going to take that and then I'm going to break it down and say, all right, well, my ideal customer is the age, say, 25 to 55. That would boot me out of that, but so I'm getting old. So that takes down your list from say 200,000 to maybe 80,000, right? You say, well, all right, well, I can do more than that. I can drill into whether they're a homeowner or a renter,
Yeah.
right? So maybe I'm selling something that is best for people that own a home. So I exclude out the renters, drop it down to 30,000. Then from there, I can say, all right, well, I want to send to households that have children, right? Take that down to 15,000. And so you keep narrowing down your audience to match as closely as possible how you've identified your ideal target. And then so you can do that around all these kind of demographic profiles, income, you know, you can choose sex in these databases. There's a lot you can do, right? Like, I mean, you may want to send a jewelry offer to men, but you may not, right? So I'm not here to judge, whatever you want to do. But so you can make those choices, right? And then kind of then let's say that there's a jewelry offer going to my wife, right? And you and the women that are like her, that, you know, same rough age, same, you know, rough income levels, and you design a piece that is highlighting a piece of jewelry that'd be great as a Christmas gift, and you send that out, you know, she's sliding that in front of me at night. Say, hey, we got this in the mail. Hint, right? Because because there's some targeting done. We didn't send it to me. I would have been like, oh, whatever. I don't care about that. But now I know she does. So if I know what's good for me, I'm going to do something about that. So so by using that kind of targeting, then thinking about the offer and the creative for the audience you're targeting, that's how you get good response.
Right. And, that's an important thing that, entrepreneurs should know, is that when you're taking on something like direct mail marketing or any kind of mass marketing, you want to find your audience, you want to find your niche. So as a tutoring company, so what I've done is I've targeted a specific income level. I've also targeted parents, it's like parents, and then it's like the number of kids that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of course, my like geography, zip codes, um, what else? Age ranges. Oh, and they break it down by the age of the kids. That's what
Yes.
I've seen as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, as a tutoring company, I'd want, parents who, parents that have, maybe minimum, I don't know, like 70,000 a year, and they're in New York State, which is where I'm at, and it doesn't really matter the number of kids, anywhere between like 3 years old to 17. Like, I try to, the more demographics, the better, because as a tutoring company, that's where I'd want to
Mm-hmm.
go. And if you, like, for me to, send a brochure to, um, I mean, there's adult students as well, but I think, there's more attraction when when it's like parents with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me to send it to someone completely random, like like a magazine business, I don't know, like, it's not going to work because it's
Right.
not my target audience.
Right. And do you have different types of programs for kids at different ages? Like, do you have like college prep versus, you know, kind of younger skill set types of development?
Yeah, so there's college, college counseling, which is, um, so I mean, yeah. So when you think college, you think, okay, at least 18 and up. So of course I'd want to target an adult demographic. Um,
Yeah,
and then
and then
also,
on that creative, right? You wanna you wanna have an offer that is speaks to that audience, right? As opposed to an offer of for parents of a, you know, 5-year-old kid, right? They're thinking about different things as it relates to um, you know, education. So you could have offers that are, you know, you can use Postalytics to have
hint, hint, hint.
one template, and you make a copy of it, just click copy, and then you can change, let's say the image. You got a picture of a kid getting ready for college, studying, and then the other image you got young kids sitting around a table, having fun with math. and then you got, you can have the offer, free college prep analysis, have fun with math for $50, like different things that are, focused on the segments. So you might serve a broader audience of ages, but your offers you can even break down, and instead of having to do it all by hand, just do it through software like you would do an email. And that's
Right.
what by taking away all the time it takes to do direct mail, that's what we try to do, is help people be more creative
Yeah.
and spend their time doing better marketing and not, doing the basics.
Right. So, with that example you gave, like if I did a creative about a special offer about, we'll give you 1 hour of, college counseling if you respond to this or something, like I wouldn't want to send it to a mom with a 5-year-old,
Right.
right? Because that's not going to work. That's not appropriate. They're not thinking about college, right? So I would send it to a mom of a 16-year-old, a mom of a 17-year-old, right? Because that's more appropriate for something like college. So
Exactly.
now, another thing, where do you get the names from? Because I see, uh, I don't know if they get it from like DMV records or tax returns. Like, where do they get the names from?
Well, the businesses that assemble the mailing lists, they pull the records first from public records that are, um, if you're a homeowner, all that information you're registering with the state, right? And so they know about your home, they know the size of your home, they know a lot, right? And then if you're a renter and you pay taxes in this, let's say the city of New York, that information is publicly available. Not how much you paid in taxes, but the fact that you're in this apartment, right? And then they can figure out, well, that apartment is a rental, right? It's not a condo, right? So
Yeah.
they can make these companies, they spend their time and energy pulling these public records and then analyzing and breaking those groups into different demographic segments, so that then you can go in and choose the audience that makes the most sense.
Yeah. So now, can you talk about how accurate those lists are? Because when I've done it, I keep. I mean, yes, there's risk to everything,
Mhm.
but when I've done the direct mail marketing, a lot of times, the letters would come back to me, and they would have the little yellow sticker like address unavailable, person moved. Another one I've seen is like the address is incorrect or something like that. I forgot what the labeling is, but I keep getting the yellow stickers.
Return to
Saying,
sender.
yeah, return to sender. Person doesn't live here anymore. They moved. Address was written incorrectly, which is something I get a lot. So how accurate are those lists?
Yeah. So the there's a lot of different types of list companies out there. And what you want to do, you want to select a list company that is updating their records every 30 days and refreshing them every 30 days.
Mhm.
Um, those that don't, you end up with a lot of outdated information. And so um, you can waste a lot of money if you're just mailing to bad addresses. And
Yeah.
so what we've actually at Postalytics put some things in place that can help filter out bad addresses as well. So um, the first thing, when you import an address, if it's in a mailing list or any other way that you import an address, we look and see, well, are all of the fields that are required to mail in the United States, are they all there? And do the zip codes make sense? If we see a bad zip code, we pull it out. If we see, an incomplete street address, we pull it out. If there's a mismatch between the state and the zip code, pull it out, right? There's logic we have that kind of looks at the addresses as they come in. So that's the first step. And we take the addresses that are bad and they're still in your list, but we label them as invalid. And you can actually go back in and fix them. And before you mail, you can go in and make changes if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But then let's say, all right, I've got my list, I imported it, I got my creative, I'm going to do a campaign. So you click, press send. And then what happens is we take that address data and we run it through a USPS database. So there's two databases that the Postal Service has made available to companies that do high volumes of mail like us. And one is called, well, this is kind of Postal Service nerd talk, but it's called CASS, CASS. And basically what CASS does is it'll take the address that you got going in, it will see if it finds a match in their records. And if it does, what it'll do is it'll take, let's say that there's standard abbreviations. Well, so let's say if you wrote Boulevard out,
Mm-hmm.
CAS would probably come back and overwrite that with BLVD, right?
Yeah.
Because the Postal Service wants to see it. And so it standardizes. And then if it finds, hey, this is no longer a valid address and we know about it as the Postal Service and it's in our database, Postalytics takes it out. You don't mail to it. And so that's the first step. Then the next database it goes through is called the National Change of Address Database.
Okay.
And so when people move, sometimes they fill out the card, they give it to the post office and say, here's my new address. If you do that, the Postal Service will then eventually somebody will type it into their system. and so if it sees, Gabrielle Crichlow at this address, but she had filled out that form to move, now she's at this address, that database will correct the address before it goes. So we filter out a lot of those issues before the mail is actually sent because we have access to these Postal Service databases. Now, it's not 100%. It's not foolproof. You still get usually less than 1% of the mail. You'll still get return to senders.
Yeah.
But because the Postal Service isn't perfect, right? And there's a lot of moving parts out there. But you know about it right away. And then you know what? If you had that list and you're going to send a second touch to it, when we find out that it was returned to sender, well, Postalytics is going back and saying that address is no good. Don't send to it again. So all these little things that we're finding out along the way, we're updating that list. So as you touch that list, like I said, 7 times to get a sale, it gets better and better each time you mail to it. You waste less money.
So now, are you saying once you use a list that entrepreneurs should reuse the same list?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you
Really?
need to touch that audience many times. You do, and so
Really?
you should have a plan, right? You should be thinking, all right, I'm going to touch these people maybe once a month, or once every 2 weeks, or once every 3 weeks, and I'm gonna hit them with multiple offers, right? As I said before, the more persistent you are, the more successful you'll be in any kind of marketing. It's not just mail, but I know for a fact from mail because I see it with my customers.
So, okay, wait. So how much time should we spend reaching out to the same people as opposed to new people?
Well, what a lot of companies will do is they will get into a cycle, right? And they'll say, all right, there are, let's say, 10,000 people that I want to hit. And what they'll do is they will break it up into a couple of different groups. And so maybe they'll take 5,000 and start, and let's say your budget is those $10,000 for lack of a better phrase.
Mm.
All right, so I'm going to spend 5,000 mailing to this group and 5,000 mailing to this group. And so within that number of campaigns, you can figure out, well, I can send 4 times, and then I can send another 4 times to this group, and then you layer it, right? So you start out week 1, you get your mailing out to the first group, and then you're going to touch them again in 3 weeks. Week 2, you get your mailing out to the second group. You're going to touch them again in 3 weeks. And so you can set all of that up in our software so that the schedule, we have a scheduler, it'll just wake up one day and do it for you. You just have to set the campaigns up in advance and put the dates on them when you want it to be sent. So that's how a lot of the customers think about it, is so that they might spend a few hours configuring everything in the beginning, but then over a period of months, the software does all the work for them. And so they're not thinking about the mailing because they invested the time up front.
So yeah, group 1, you focus on that, and then a few weeks later you do group 2, you focus on that, and then you go back to group 1
Yeah,
a few
so you
weeks
could
later.
say, all right, I set up my campaign for group 1. It's going to go out on Monday, right? And then I have my second offer for group 1. I want to have sent out 3 weeks from Monday. So I can go in, I take offer number 2, put it in a campaign to go out 3 weeks from Monday. Offer number 3, 3 weeks after that. And you can do it all at one time. And then Postalytics wakes up that Monday morning and says, oh, it's time to send this campaign, this touch to this audience. And then whatever's happened in those campaigns will inform the list. The list gets better. So whatever's current as of that date when it gets sent, we're mailing to that particular list.
Ah, okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to start to wind things down a little bit. So now why should entrepreneurs consider direct mail marketing as a type of marketing? Why should entrepreneurs consider it?
Well, because there's a couple of key reasons. First of all, as we were mentioning before, there's a lot less competition in the postal mailbox than there is in other marketing channels. So you get 120 emails a day, you get about maybe 8 to 10 pieces of mail per day. The math is simple, right? You can stand out. You can stand out in the mailbox. So that's number 1. Number 2, you can take advantage of the fact that when you are holding a piece of mail in your hands, whether you throw that piece of mail away or not, you're making a brand impression on that person. When you send an email out and you're looking at 120 emails, delete, right? I don't have time today. I'm too busy. I can't read emails from people I don't know. Right. So there's zero brand impression on those things. So the brain science shows that when you actually touch something, a brochure, a postcard, a letter, you're making a deeper impact on the consumer's brain. So that's number 2. And then number 3, you can do direct mail now quickly and easily in a scalable way using new tools like Postalytics. There's others out there, right? But like Postalytics. that take away all the painful time that has been associated with direct mail in the past.
So it's interesting that you mentioned about um, that it's like when you see the brands in the mail, it's like an imprint in your brain. Because when I mentioned about the Brooklyn Public Libraries, they always send. I mean, yeah, they're asking for donations, and they send it all the time. um, but it's like I remember them because I mean, one, I know I go to the library, so that's how they probably got my information. But also,
You're
I
on the house.
remember
You're
them.
on the house list.
Yeah, but then I remember them because they usually send gifts like there's mailing labels that they usually send, or they usually send the magnets. So little things like that, which makes me always remember, like, oh yeah, and it's in my head, like I don't even maybe that might be like subliminal marketing in a way, like, oh, I'm always thinking about the library because they're all, so
Well,
it's
it's very
interesting.
effective. Yeah, that's very effective. So that's a great example, right? They've been persistent. They've sent to you many times, and it's made an impact, and you remember it. And so if if you can accomplish anything as a marketer, you want to create a memory in
Yeah.
the part of your audience.
Hmm. So what was my other question? So just in terms of the list of names, do you provide like the list themselves, like the list itself? Like, what if I just maybe I like chucking a tote bag full of envelopes to the post office, right? I just want the names and addresses. Do you provide that individually, or do I have to use your program?
Yeah, you have to use our program. It's kind of built to be one process. Um, and so there are other people out there that will sell you lists though directly. You don't have to use Postalytics to do that. So you can just Google it and buy mailing lists, and there's lots of people. But what we do is we will often help our clients find the right list. So you know, and as a part of that, we're expecting you to use the whole product.
Ah, okay. All right, so let's wind things down now. So now, do you have any words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, I think uh, words of wisdom don't come naturally to me, but I guess.
A- Any advice? Anything,
Yeah, yeah,
entrepreneurs keep doing wrong and you just want to like, stop doing that?
yeah, yeah. So number one thing by far, entrepreneurs, don't think if you try any type of marketing once that it will work, because it will not. It will not. You have to be persistent, and you have to think about yourself as a consumer. When you get one thing from a company, right, you don't ever do anything. I mean, that's why you see Coke ads over and over again. You see car ads. If you watch NFL, you see truck ads. I don't know how many truck ads I see if I watch an NFL game, but it's a lot. And it's Ford, it's Chevy, it's Toyota, right? They're hammering me with truck ads, and there's a reason for that. They know what they're doing. So it doesn't matter if it's direct mail, if it's TV, or it's radio, or it's email, social media. It doesn't matter. You got to be persistent. One attempt will not work.
There you go. Be persistent. Fabulous. Thank you for that wonderful advice, and thank you for joining us today. All right, so it is now promo time. So let me just get your banner here. All right, you guys. So Dennis Kelly, he is the CEO of Postalytics. So if you are looking for a software that helps you with direct mail, um, they'll if you well, they have to design the creative, right? You don't design for them.
No, but we have templates that you can use as the starting point.
Okay, so there you go. So they offer templates, right? So if you're thinking about using direct mail, you're trying to scale your business, reach out to as many people as possible. Postalytics is a service that you can use, and Dennis Kelly is the CEO, of course. You can send him an email. It is dennis@postalytics.com. You can also go to his website. It is www.postalytics.com. And he has two LinkedIns that you can check him out on. He has his personal LinkedIn, Dennis John Kelly, and the second one is the company LinkedIn, which is Postalytics. So all of that information is scrolling below at the bottom of your screen if you happen to be watching this on video. But if you are listening to this on audio, all of this information will be in the description. So if you want to learn more about Postalytics, how it works, if you want to learn more about direct mail and how to take advantage of that, I encourage you to reach out to Dennis. You know, his email is there, his website is there. He's on two LinkedIns, right? His personal and his business. You can't miss it. So I encourage you to reach out and use his services. Is there anything else you want to share about your company?
We've got an easy to use free account. You can just go right to the website, sign up. You can use the software. You don't have to pay a penny until you send mail. So it's a simple process, easy to use, and I encourage people just to go check it out.
Fabulous, fabulous. So I'll give you the website again. It is www.postalytics.com. That information is scrolling below at the bottom of the screen if you are watching this on video. And once again, if you're listening to this on audio, whether it's Spotify or Apple or iHeartRadio or any kind of podcast platform, this information is in the description. So either way, all of this information is at your fingertips. And I want to make sure that we get this in. You have a buy one, get one promotion. Please tell us about that.
Yes. So we offer, as I mentioned, a free account. And then if you're going to send more than, say, 1,000 pieces of mail, we have a subscription that you can pay for that will actually save you more money. And we're having a buy one, get one offer on the subscriptions. So if you've got a campaign, if you're going to get some mail out, you should sign up and contact us. Say, I want the BOGO offer, buy one, get one. And what we'll do is we'll set it up so you get you pay for your first month, you get your second month free of Postalytics. And so you save money on your mailing and you get your second month free on a free subscription.
Okay, so they have to contact you directly.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. You guys, boom, right there, right? So contact Dennis, right? So if you're looking to get into direct mail, you want to send it's only like brochures and like letters, right? I know.
Yeah,
what kind of
postcards, letters, and then folding brochures as well.
Folding brochures. Got it. Beautiful. All right. So if you're looking to get into direct mail marketing, send it in mass production, right? Reach out to postalytics.com, and he just told you guys about a buy one, get one promotion. So in order for you to take advantage of that, you do have to, I guess they're contacting you directly, right?
Contact us. You can hit me
or
or
the company.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So you'll have to contact them directly, right, to take advantage of that promotion, and they'll give you, and it's a code. You give them a code.
That's right. Yes.
All right. So you have to contact postalytics.com. They're going to give you a code, and then you're going to use that code to get the promotion, which is you're going to buy 1 month and you get another month free.
Exactly.
Right. For the subscription plan. So beautiful. So again, email Dennis. It is dennis@postalytics.com. You can go to the website, www. Let me put that banner back up. Postalytics.com, and two LinkedIns, right? So the first one is Dennis John Kelly, and the second one is Postalytics. So take advantage of these services, take advantage of these offers. Buy one, get one, take advantage of it, you guys. This information is available to you. And the contact information is, again, scrolling below at the bottom of your screen if you're watching this on video. And if you're listening to this on audio, all of this information will be in the description. All right, Dennis, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Gabrielle. That was a lot of fun, and I hope that your audience enjoys this. And like I said, if anybody wants to get in touch, please reach out.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, I'm going to put you off camera. All right, and you guys, it is now just you and me. So let me get up my banner. Where's my banner? Okay. Where's my banner? Okay. All right, you guys. So we have reached the conclusion of yet another episode. I think this is 157, 158. So I know we're in season 4. I think this is episode 7 or 8. But we're here. We've ended yet another episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, as a reminder, this podcast, Hot Topics, is a production of A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. And so, if you are looking for tutoring for your child needs that academic help, that struggling with homework, time management, they're taking too long to turn things in, they have all those missing assignments and they need catching up. There's so many things that we've heard. We've seen it all, we've heard it all. So if you are, if you are looking for any of that, reach out to us. Our website is www.astepaheadtutoring.com. You can also email us, success@astepaheadtutoringservices.com. You can also call us 347-762-2838. You can also hit us up on our multiple social media platforms. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Eventbrite, WhatsApp, and Twitter. So hit us up. It is just our name, A Step Ahead Tutoring Services, but Twitter is ASATS2013. So hit us up on social media, you guys. I encourage you to follow us on all of our accounts so you could stay in touch with us. So not only do I want you to hit us up on social media, but I want you to follow us as well. So there are so many ways that you could reach out to us. So there is no excuse. So if you are looking for a tutor for whatever reason, or maybe for yourself as well, because we also work with adults, reach out to us. Again, I'll just give you the website, www.stepaheadtutoringservices.com. And I also encourage you guys, let us know what you thought about this episode. Drop a comment in the comment section or in the comment thread. Give us a rating, give us a shout out, a holler, give us your feedback. Let us know what you thought about this episode. So whether you're watching this on YouTube or Twitter, or you're listening on Good Pods or Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you are taking in the sound of my voice, give us a holler, give us your feedback, give us a rating, let us know your thoughts about the episode today. And finally, I encourage you guys to get on the Hot Topics text blast. You will know anything and everything there is about our podcast, Hot Topics, live episodes, streamings, audio releases. You will learn it all. So I encourage you to get on the Hot Topics text blast. So all you have to do is text the code Hot Topics to 917-764-3975. Once again, just text the code Hot Topics to 917-764-3975. All right, you guys, thank you so much again for joining me. I look forward to you joining us at the next episode as I look for this video here. All right, you guys, thank you again. And now I am signing off. See you next time. Bye, you guys.